The Eldlich Archetype. Once, a group of alchemists attempted to create the legendary magnum opus of alchemy, the Philosopher's Stone. In alchemy, the first law is that of equivalent exchange. Humankind cannot gain anything without first giving something in return. To obtain something of equal value must be lost. The Philosopher's Stone is said, if created, could bypass this law of equivalent exchange, allowing you to convert something of lesser value into something greater. And that's not all it's capable of. With this incredible substance, you could create the elixir of life, which would bestow any who drank it the gift of immortality. Fueled by greed, the alchemists theorized that to create the stone, human souls were required to achieve such a high level of results, as what is more value than a human soul? From this revelation, the recently departed were brought to the creation chamber at the center of the Eldland city, where the lingering souls were extracted and condensed inside of a stone. As more and more souls were pumped into the stone, the alchemists began to notice the 4 phases of the alchemical evolution of a Philosopher's Stone begin to take place. The first stage, the Negredo stage, known as the Blackening, happened. This was visible by the fact that the stone started to decompose and turn black. The second stage, the Albedo stage, known as the Whitening, the stone began to become clear as it was being purified. The third stage, the Citronita stage, known as the Yellowing, the stone began to exude an ethereal light. However, something wasn't right. The light began going out of control, regurgitating the souls of those sacrificed back from its core. Unable to shut down the process, the final and 4th stage of the alchemic reaction took place, the Rubedo stage, known as the Reddening. This was the display of the alchemical success. The stone was complete, and it shone a bright crimson light. And, just like the alchemists sought, their wishes were granted. Everything the crimson light touched began turning gold, and all the people who were bathed in its glow were granted the gift of immortality. However, the rule of equivalent exchange hadn't been bypassed at all. While the floors, the walls, and the statues all began turning gold, so did the insects, the animals, and even the people. The gift of immortality was true. However, the flesh of the mere mortal bodies began to decompose. Their once great minds began to blur into a mindless haze. When the dust finally settled, all that remained was horror, and at the center of it all, the Philosopher's Stone. The city would be renamed from this day onward as the Cursed Eldlands, a place that no one would dare tread. That is, until, from the shadows, a man appeared. Or perhaps a creature. He had heard rumors of a city of gold with a jewel sitting at its center. The man walked straight into the heart of the city and grabbed the mighty Philosopher's Stone with his bare hands. Through pure strength and his own sheer level of ego and greed, he was able to perform a ritual that focused the gold's curse onto himself. The stone began merging with him, warping him into the controller of the most powerful element and source of strength on the planet. With this power fused to his armor, and with an army of golden-clad immortal soldiers, he began his march to conquer the world, turning all who would cross his path into his golden servants. However, once again, the rules of equivalent exchange had been broken, and a price needed to be paid. The more the Golden Lord used his powers, the more his mind slowly began to slip from him, until eventually, the once proud and greedy Lord had become a mindless creature, and the stone that had started it all began taking on a new form. Released in the 2020 pack, Secret Slayers, this archetype is made up of 3 separate archetypes: the Golden Lord, the Elixir, and the Golden Land. Together, these 3 create a deck that is all about control. The boss monster, Eldlich the Golden Lord, acts as the win condition. He is a monster who wields the power of eternal resurrection, as whenever he is in the grave, he can be returned through his effect, and when he does, his attack will be boosted and will be incapable of being destroyed by card effects until your opponent's next end phase. They say you can't take your money with you. Well, this monster is so rich, he can actually buy himself back from the graveyard. The trap cards of the archetype can be summoned as trap monsters to bolster your field's presence, since they only have one monster in the archetype. In fact, speaking of, when Golden Lord is on the field, these traps gain an additional unique effect that can be used to disrupt your opponent's plays even more. Finally, as a last resort, when your deck doesn't have the necessary power required to defeat a monster, that is when the Golden Lord snaps. Eldlich, the Mad Golden Lord, a monster capable of stealing your opponent's most prized monsters and making them his own. The archetype's name of Eldlich is derived from three influences. Lich, which is a term often used in fantasy mediums. It is an old English word meaning corpse. A lich is a creature that has been brought back from the dead. However, don't get it confused with a mere zombie. In fact, a lich is considered one of the most powerful undead creatures in the Dungeons & Dragons game, as uniquely it has retained all of its previous life's intelligence and magical abilities, making it a truly formidable foe. And I mean, if you're currently climbing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel's ranked ladder, it probably does seem that way. Eldlich's second influence is to El Dorado, which means the Gilded One in Spanish. El Dorado was originally known as the name for a legendary ruler, who was said to envelop his body with gold dust during festivals, after which he would dive into a lake to wash it off. His subjects would then throw countless golden objects and jewels into the lake. Spanish conquistadors heard tales of this golden man and went in search for him. However, he was never found, and over time, retellings of this story morphed El Dorado into not just a man gilded in gold, but into an entire country made of gold and jewels. This place would come to be known as Eldlich's third influence is to Eldritch, an English word used to describe something otherworldly. It is often referenced in Lovecraftian works, whom told tales of cosmic horrors that existed in the vast darkness that is space. And in fact, looking at the Golden Lord himself, it is clear, based on his face and eyes, he's not of this world. Eldlich the Golden Lord. You can send this card and one spell or trap from your hand to the graveyard, then target one card on the field. Send it to the graveyard. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send one spell or trap you control to the graveyard, add this card to your hand. Then you can special summon one zombie monster from your hand. And if you do, until the end of your opponent's turn, it gains 1000 attack and defense and cannot be destroyed by card effects. Now, this monster comes in two different artwork flavors. And awesomely, this card and many of the other cards in this archetype are available in Premium Gold Rare from the fittingly named sets Maximum Gold and Maximum Gold El Dorado. Honestly, no other rarity would suffice. We will cover this in more detail later, but the color scheme that makes up this monster is not actually random. They are references to the 4 stages of the Philosopher's Stone creation. These are black, white, yellow, in this case gold, scarlet, and purple. And now, by fusing this monster with a level 5 or higher zombie monster, you can create Eldlich, the Mad Golden Lord. This card's name becomes Eldlich the Golden Lord while on the field. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. You contribute one zombie monster, then target one face-up monster your opponent controls, take control of it, but it cannot attack or activate its effects this turn. You'll notice that this monster is effectively just its original form summoned out by its own effect, but now permanent, as it has 1000 extra attack and defense, and is also indestructible. However, due to its madness, its attack and defense stats are flipped. Also, its ability to steal a monster, in lore, is it in fact turning opponents' monsters into gold through the power of the out of control Philosopher's Stone embedded in its chest. Cursed Eldland. You cannot declare attacks except with zombie monsters. You can pay 800 life points, add one Eldlich monster or one Golden Land spell or trap from your deck to your hand. If this card is sent from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard, you can send one Eldlich monster or one Golden Land spell or trap from your deck to the graveyard. This card's artwork shows the aftermath of the stone's creation, having warped everything into gold and the light inside being that of the stone emitting an ethereal glow. Eldorado Adelantado. If you control an Eldlich monster, activate one of these effects. Shuffle 3 of your banished Elixir spells or traps with different names into the deck, and if you do, destroy all cards on the field. Shuffle 3 of your banished Golden Lands spell or traps with different names into the deck, and if you do, halve your opponent's life points. then gain life points equal to your opponent's. Adelantado translates as advanced in Spanish, meaning that this card is displaying the advanced powers that the stone is granting the Golden Lord. Conquistador of the Golden Land. Special summon this card as a normal monster. Then, if you control Eldlich the Golden Lord, you can destroy one face-up card on the field. During the end phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, set one Elixir Spell Trap directly from your deck. This monster's name of Conquistador alludes to this archetype's roots, as the name Conquistador refers to invaders, knights, soldiers, and explorers of the Spanish and Portuguese empires during the Age of Discovery. So, Conquistador of the Golden Land could be translated as Conqueror of the Golden Land. Vaquero of the Golden Land. Special summon this card as a normal monster. Then, if you control Eldlich the Golden Lord, you can banish one card from either graveyard. During the end phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, set one Elixir Spell Trap directly from your deck. Vaquero means grave robber in Spanish. You can see in this monster's artwork, like others, it is half corpse and half gold. Guardian of the Golden Land. Special summon this card as a normal monster. Then, if you control Eldlich the Golden Lord, you can make the attack of one face-up monster on the field become 0. During the end phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, set one Elixir Spell Trap directly from your deck. Golden Land Forever, known in the Japanese as the Forever Shining Golden Land. When a spell trap or monster effect is activated while you control an Eldlich monster, tribute one zombie monster, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. The artwork of this card shows Eldlich the Golden Lord in one of his signature poses, but from a lower angle, as if you were one of his undead subjects. While the name alludes to Eldlich's reign lasting forever, it in fact will be short-lived, with his eventual downfall into madness. I feel like Alistair, the Invoker, and the Golden Lord would really get along together. They both went mad from the power that they sought. The Elixir archetype is based on each of the stages of creating the Philosopher's Stone, and each of the cards in this archetype shares almost identical effects, which is special summon one zombie monster from your hand or deck, but if you control no Eldlich monsters, you can only special summon Eldlich monsters. For the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon monsters except zombie monsters. You can banish this card from your graveyard, set one Golden Land Spell Trap directly from your deck. The first stage in the alchemical process is the Nigredo stage, known as the Blackening. This phase is visible by the fact that the stone starts to decompose and turn black. Elixir of Black Awakening is the card that shows this. The second stage, the Albedo stage, known as the Whitening, this is visible by when the stone starts to become clear, as it is being purified. Elixir of White Destiny shows this. The third stage, the Citronita stage, known as the Yellowing, this is visible when the stone starts to exude an ethereal light. There is no individual card to show this process. However, it does appear that the Albedo and Citronitas stage are both occurring in the same artwork of White Destiny. However, the final stage, the Rubedo stage, known as the Reddening, shows the display of alchemical success and the creation of the Philosopher's Stone. This is shown in Elixir of Scarlet Sanguine, showing the stone shining a bright crimson light. And with that, that was the Eldlich archetype done. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. Huge shout out to Jonathan Youngs. Thank you very much, sir, for giving that little bit extra every month, as well to all of my other supporters. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.